At 4:48 in the morning, a single call would summon deputies to a gas station in Angleton, Texas. What they found would shatter a community and raise a question no one can yet answer. How does a mother turn on her own children? This is the case of Oninda Romelus, a 31-year-old mother accused of shooting her 4 children, killing 2 and gravely injuring the other 2. Her words to investigators: "They were with the devil." To understand how a scene like that could unfold, we must first step back. Every crime has 3 parts: the means, the motive, and the murder. Behind every headline lies a deeper story, a puzzle of human nature, obsession, betrayal, and sometimes pure evil. We break down the evidence, examine the psychology, follow the timeline, and ask the one question that matters most. Because the truth is never as simple as it seems. Who was Oninda Romelus? She was 31 years old, living in Porter, Texas. Having relocated from Georgia in recent years, originally from Haiti, where her early life remains largely private, she later relocated to the United States, living for a time in Georgia, before eventually settling in Texas. A mother of 4, Romelus balanced her home life with work as a tax agent, a profession that offered structure, if not stability. Her children span a wide age range. Her eldest 13-year-old was born in 2012. She later gave birth to a daughter in 2016, a son in 2017, and her youngest daughter in 2022. Those who knew her described her as deeply involved in her children's lives, though her circumstances often appeared to shift. Romelus's record includes a prior conviction in Fayette County, Georgia, where in 2022 she was found guilty of driving under the influence of drugs. The incident marked a legal turning point and foreshadowed deeper struggles that would later come to light. In the years before the tragedy, Oninda Romelus briefly stepped into the public eye, appearing on the reality TV show Paternity Court, seeking to determine the father of one of her children. It was a glimpse into a complicated personal life, but it barely scratched the surface. Behind the scenes, her past was marked by legal troubles. In Georgia, Romelus faced charges for driving under the influence of drugs, along with marijuana possession. These weren't isolated incidents. They hinted at a deeper unraveling. There were also whispers of involvement with Child Protective Services. While the case files remain sealed, it's clear that authorities had previously stepped in. What they saw, or failed to act on, remains a haunting unknown. Her family life appeared fragmented. Romelus had multiple children, including a teenage son, believed to be around 17 years old. He wasn't in the car during the shooting, and his current whereabouts are absent from public records. That absence only deepens the mystery. To neighbors, she seemed quiet, normal, nothing out of place. But in stories like this, it's often the calmest surfaces that conceal the deepest cracks. In the filtered lens of Instagram, Oninda Romelus appeared polished, composed, and even aspirational. With a following that had steadily grown over the past 2 years to well over 10,000 followers, she curated her digital identity with intention, posting motivational quotes, posed selfies with her children, and cryptic captions hinting at spiritual awakenings and inner strength. Her followers, many of them young mothers, aspiring influencers, and spiritual seekers, often engage with her content, reinforcing a narrative of empowerment and control. In contrast, Oninda Romelus also crafted a strikingly different image, one that shimmered with high fashion, luxury, and curated perfection. Her feed was filled with videos and photos showcasing what appeared to be an expensive lifestyle: designer outfits, bold makeup, and carefully posed shots that blended allure with ambition. Some posts were lighthearted, outfit of the day photos, dance clips echoing TikTok trends, playful and polished. But others edged into something more provocative: slow motion dance videos, suggestive angles, and captions that left followers wondering if there was more to the story than what met the eye. It was a digital stage, and she performed on it well. To some, it was confidence. To others, a mask. But in retrospect, her online presence reads almost like a coded diary, where beneath the glitter and filters, something darker may have been trying to break through. But behind the screen, the reality was fragmenting. As Thursday night turned into early Friday morning, events set in motion that would end lives and haunt questions. Around 2:39 a.m., surveillance video from a neighborhood showed children exiting a residence, entering a vehicle. A few hours later, at 4:48 a.m., Oninda Romelus made a call to the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office. She instructed deputies to come to her location, a gas station in Angleton. When deputies arrived, they found a white car with its doors open at a pump. Inside and around the vehicle were the shocking remnants of violence. A 13-year-old boy was slumped motionless in the passenger seat. He was later pronounced dead. A 3-year-old girl was also found dead in the vehicle. 2 other children, a 9-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy, were gravely wounded. They were airlifted to a Houston hospital. Deputies immediately began life-saving measures. Their swift action likely prevented further loss, but the question lingered: where did the shooting occur? Authorities later clarified it was not at the gas station. The shots were fired earlier, likely inside the moving vehicle. Once in custody, Romelus's demeanor baffled investigators. According to court documents, during interrogations, she appeared paranoid, distracted, and frequently glanced toward the door as if expecting intrusion. When asked why she called for help, she first said she couldn't talk about it. Then, with mounting confusion, she claimed, "Instead of them doing it to me, I'm going to do it to them." When pressed, "Do what?" her response was alarming: "Kill them all." Matters grew darker. She denied ever calling 911. Instead, she said she called the devil. She said her children were with the devil, dead to her, and added, "'Cause you can't take me without me taking you." Investigators characterized many of her statements as incoherent, signs of a mind unmoored from reality. While the interrogation raised more questions than answers, the search of Romelus's home delivered chilling clues. Police executed search warrants at her residence in Porter and uncovered a trove of documents and items suggesting possible identity fraud or illicit activity. Items seized included 33 Social Security cards, 48 identification cards, 16 credit cards, multiple blank checks, shipping labels, mail packages, computers, printers, and electronics linked to fabrication of identities, ammunition and components consistent with weaponry or firearms used. The enormity of these materials suggests a side of her life hidden from public view: identity manipulation, possibly fraud or deeper criminal networks. One search also revealed that her 17-year-old son was missing from the home. Authorities forced entry into the residence in hopes of locating him, but he was not found. In the wake of tragedy, 2 lives lost and 2 more hanging in limbo. This is what remains. The 13-year-old son and the 3-year-old daughter succumbed to their injuries at the scene. The 9-year-old girl and 8-year-old boy survived, transported to Houston for treatment. Authorities later described their condition as stable. Their names, ages, and identities are shielded from public release to respect privacy and safety. Romelus was swiftly arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. A bond was set at $14 million. Law enforcement from both Brazoria County, where the crime occurred, and Montgomery County, her place of residence, are collaborating in the investigation. The local community, reeling from shock, has voiced grief and frustration. Child Protective Services has entered the picture, working to secure custody, protection, and healing for the 2 surviving children. In the calm light of day, the burning question remains: why? From her statements, "They were with the devil, kill them all," claiming to call the devil instead of 911, her mindset suggests a break from reality. Yet a diagnosis or motive has not been established, at least not publicly. Investigators are likely to examine her prior mental health history and any documented episodes, the role of religious or delusional beliefs in her decision-making, the connection, if any, between her alleged identity fraud and the crime the missing son. Was he involved or excluded? Warning signs that may have been missed by family, neighbors, or authorities. There is no clear pathway from motive to evidence now, and perhaps none will ever be fully known. On a pre-dawn Texas road, 4 children sat in a car. By daybreak, 2 were gone, 2 injured, and a mother was in custody claiming she acted to save herself. or to destroy. Words like devil, delusion, betrayal echo through this case, but behind them lies an abyss of loss and unanswered sorrow. Her initial inability to clearly articulate motive, combined with sudden incriminating statements, suggests a rapid collapse from internal anguish into outward violence. If this case teaches us anything, it's that the line between love and destruction can blur under the weight of untreated psychological torment. Oninda Romelus may have been a mother struggling with her identity, hiding a web of secret pressures and slipping into delusional thought. Until one tragic night, the internal battle spilled outward with irreversible consequences. Investigators would later discover that Romelus maintained multiple Instagram profiles, some public, some private, others deleted, each projecting different aspects of her identity. One profile leaned heavily into maternal devotion and home life. Another was more cryptic, filled with esoteric symbols, vague allusions to spiritual warfare, and an increasing sense of paranoia about unseen enemies. Forensic analysts reviewing her online activity noted a distinct shift in tone beginning approximately 3 months before the murders. Posts became erratic, captions less coherent. Followers began to notice a darker edge, references to being watched, and hashtags like #ProtectMyEnergy and #Light versus Dark, common in spiritual and conspiracy circles. Her DMs revealed private conversations with strangers who offered guidance on how to cleanse her space of demonic forces, with some advising fasting, isolation, or even separation from those closest to her. The attention fed a dangerous spiral, with each like, each comment validating her perception that she was fighting something bigger than herself. The boundaries between delusion and digital affirmation blurred. Instagram didn't create her psychosis, but it gave it a stage. It amplified it, normalized it within a subculture of vague spiritualism and loosely connected followers who never saw the full picture. Romelus reportedly began to withdraw from close relationships in the physical world, while her online presence remained strangely active. Friends told police she was always on her phone, sometimes obsessively reading messages or editing captions minutes after posting. In one story archived by a forensic technician, she posed with her youngest child in the caption, "They're too pure for this world. God sees, the veil is lifting." That story was posted just days before the tragedy. The paradox of social media is its power to connect while isolating. For Romelus, her following became both an audience and an echo chamber, reflecting back distorted truths, never challenging, only affirming. The validation she received may have masked deepening psychosis. The identity she built online, wise, spiritual, misunderstood, may have strengthened her resolve to act on beliefs no one around her understood or could talk her down from. In the end, the influence of social media wasn't the direct cause, but it was a co-conspirator, not in the act, but in the silence, in the shadows, in the scrolling affirmations that made her feel, perhaps, that she wasn't alone in what she was about to do. As of October 2025, she is currently in jail and awaiting trial. Thank you for watching. Above all, protecting innocent lives, especially those of children, must remain the priority. If you suspect someone may be experiencing a mental health crisis, don't stay silent. Reach out. Offer support in a safe and compassionate way. Your awareness could make the difference between tragedy and hope. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay safe. Thank you for joining us today. If this episode resonated with you, please like and share, and continue the conversation in the comments. Check out our next video where we examine the motive, the means, and the murder.